Right, all you Kolkata Knight Riders fan, by now, of course, you'd be much more relaxed after that frenetic innings from Mumbai Indians. Boy, what an effort that was. They needed to win. Mumbai Indians needed to win against Sunrisers Hyderabad by 171 runs. And look, at one stage, it did look like it was going to be possible. They finished with, in Mumbai Indians, in their innings, they finished with 235 for 9. Surya Kumar Yadav getting runs, Ishan Kishan getting runs. In fact, um, it was just destructive. It was destructive batting from the Mumbai Indians. Ishan Kishan 84 of 32, Surya Kumar 82 of 40, 235 for 9. But Sunrisers Hyderabad also came up with a stellar batting performance. Remember, Manish Pandey was leading Sunrisers instead of Kane Williamson tonight, but it all came to nothing for Sunrisers Hyderabad. They still lost. It was a valiant effort, 193 for 8. Mumbai Indians won by 42 runs, but they could not make it to the playoffs. Remember, they had to win this game by 171 runs. So the first two things went in their favor. Mumbai Indians won the toss. They heaped a massive score, 235 for 9, their highest in all of IPL and Champions League T20 history. But it wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough at the end, as Mumbai Indians lost by a fair bit margin, 42 runs, and Kolkata Knight Riders were anywhere short of a playoff spot the moment Sunrisers Hyderabad crossed 65. In the other game, of course, that was a last ball thriller, which was very exciting. Delhi Capitals versus Royal Challengers Bangalore. Delhi Capitals, of course, they banked heavily on that innings from Prithvi Shaw to get to a substantial score. 164 for 5 is what Delhi Capitals scored, and Bangalore were in a fair bit of a spot of bother. They lost Devdutt Padikkal early, they lost Virat Kohli early, but Kona Bharat rightfully coming back to his number 3 position. Remember, it was Dan Christian who was batting at number 3 for the last couple of games. Devdutt Padikkal came up the order. He has done remarkably well for Bangalore at number 3, and RCB fans would hope they stick with this batting lineup. Kona Bharat came and smashed an unbeaten 78 of 52, including a last ball 6 of Avesh Khan. And of course, runs from EB de Villiers was 26 ball 26. And also Glenn Maxwell, he scored an unbeaten 51 of 33. What a run Glenn Maxwell has had for Bangalore. And they'd be happy, Bangalore would be happy to go into the playoffs with a resounding victory. Because it was a good victory. They won by 7 wickets, but it was too close for comfort. In fact, at one point, the Delhi Capitals looked very confident. RCB needed 8 of the last 2 balls. There was a really shoddy effort from Akshar Patel in the deep. He really should have cut off that extra run, that double there at the end. It should have been a 1, but it was a sloppy effort from Akshar in the deep, and Kona Bharat and Glenn Maxwell quickly ran to. Kona Bharat was on strike. Avesh Khan, it was hot, it was humid, he was nervous. As a young pacer, he bowled one wide down the leg side, and with the last ball, RCB needed 5 of the last ball, and Bharat deposited the last ball in the stands for a 6 and a victory. That was very, very happy scenes from Royal Challengers Bangalore. Well then, this is how the playoffs lineup is looking like. Mumbai Indians are out for the first time since 2018. They will not be in the playoffs. Defending champions Mumbai Indians, the 5-time champions, the most successful team in IPL history, will not be there. Kolkata Knight Riders, on the other hand, they finished on number 5 in the last 2 IPL seasons. They have now made it, and this is what the playoff lineup is looking like. Delhi Capitals versus Chennai Super Kings in qualifier 1. RCB versus MI in the eliminator. Of course, the victor of the qualifier 1 will go straight to the final. DC versus CSK. Whoever wins that game will go straight to the final. The loser of qualifier 1 will get another chance. That is why it is so critical for teams to want to finish in the top 2. So the loser of that first qualifier between DC and CSK will get to play the second qualifier. In the eliminator, RCB versus KKR. There's a mistake in the graphic here. RCB versus KKR. Whoever wins between RCB and KKR, whoever wins will go through to the second qualifier. The loser goes home. Remember, in the eliminator, the loser goes home, and then the winner of the eliminator goes and plays the loser of qualifier 1 in qualifier 2, and the winner of qualifier 2 will then go and play the final. So it's a pretty simple arithmetic there. Kolkata Knight Riders fans related, they must be really, really happy. This is absolutely stunning. Being an RCB fan, I can still think if we do not correct our batting, Rahul Reddy saying, being an RCB fan, I can still think if we do not correct our batting order, KKR are favourites for the eliminator and form of AB de Villiers is a concern. I completely agree. This is going to look very, very difficult for RCB if their batting lineup does not really fire. And you've seen some of the top batsmen. They are a little suspect against spin. They are a little suspect against quality spin. KKR will come at them full throttle. Shakib Al Hasan, it would be impossible to leave him out, even if Andre Russell is fit. It would be interesting to see how KKR go with that. Shakib Al Hasan, Varun Chakravarti, and Sunil Narayan, three very good spinners, and of course Shivam Mavi and as well as Lockie Ferguson. So that is going to be a dangerous spin lineup, and RCB will really need to fire. And they will take a lot of confidence from this game, no doubt, with runs for Kona Bharat, Glenn Maxwell in top form. Virat Kohli will really want to bring his A game into the eliminator against the Kolkata Knight Riders. Well, then that's it. Then this is the lineups. The lineups are sorted. DC versus CSK in qualifier 1. KKR, RCB versus KKR in the eliminator. This is going to be a thrilling couple of thrilling few more games now as we head into the final of the 2021 Indian Premier League. That's the end of the league stages. This is the end of the league stages of the 2021 Indian Premier League. Very, very intense games. Some of the second games in the second leg of the UAE trip were not really up to standard, but both games tonight did offer something because teams, the Mumbai Indians especially, went in with everything they had. Unfortunately for Mumbai Indians and their fans and the players, they could not quite make it to the could not really make it to the playoffs. But we'll see if we have corrected graphics there. There was because there were two graphics made, and it happens. It all happens in the middle of the heat. The producers had made two graphics, assuming because there was a stage during the game against Mumbai Indians where we thought, well, you never know. What if Mumbai Indians also complemented their batting performance with their bowling performance and really blow out Sunrisers Hyderabad for 50 or 60? So that is what the graphic is. DC versus CSK in qualifier 1, RCB versus KKR will eliminate in the eliminator. The winner of the eliminator goes to qualifier 2. The loser of qualifier 1 goes to qualifier 2. The winner of qualifier 1 goes straight to the final. And the winner of the second qualifier, of course, meets the winner of the first qualifier in the final. That should be a cracker of a contest. Will it be DC versus CSK again in the final? Will it be DC versus KKR, CSK versus KKR, DC versus RCB, CSK versus RCB? It's all open. There's very little to differentiate between the teams. Whatever has happened in the league stages has happened. This is going to be extremely enthralling. Thank you so much. By the way, this is all that I have for you. Two very good games on the last day of the league matches of the 2021 Indian Premier League. We'll of course come back with more on the 10th. We'll take a bit of a break tomorrow, but we'll be back with our full tilt coverage on the 10th. We'll be back with the fans for the respective teams for the first qualifier for the eliminator, and you'll get to see a lot of excitement heading into the Indian Premier League playoff stages. Thank you so much for joining me. Do subscribe to Sports Today and have a very, very good night. See you again on the 10th. Thank you.